before rapper K Flock's trial. An inmate who has recently been freed under the YouTube name of Car Reality has alleged that K Flock almost killed an inmate in the prison after that inmate tried to stab him.
DOA was running the Bronx drill game like they owned it until they fell harder than anyone thought possible. Now the crew's falling apart, members broke, locked up, and staring down decades behind bars. And today, we're breaking down exactly how it all went down. K Flock was the face of DOA, the one everybody thought could beat the case and walk free, but then his own ops and his own people turned on him. Now he's sitting in a cell, facing decades with no clear way out. It all started in 2021, when K Flock was tied to the shooting of OY affiliate Waka. The streets instantly thought he was finished. Flock was out in Montclair, Amiri, and unreleased Jordans when it happened, and the whole thing was caught on camera. At first, word spread that K Flock walked into a barbershop and shot Waka dead. But then, more details dropped, and they flipped the story upside down. Turns out, Waka had spotted K Flock, went outside to press him, and that's when everything popped off. Once the footage surfaced proving Waka started it, fans actually thought Flock might walk away from the murder charge. He'd only been locked up for a few months, and there was hope he could come home and keep dominating the rap game. But just when it looked like he might slide free, the feds stepped in. They hit Flock and the DOA crew with a massive RICO case, and that's when the real nightmare started. According to prosecutors, Flock was calling the shots for Sev's side, a crew that had been shaking up the city for years. He wasn't new to trouble either, and at 15 he caught a robbery charge, and by 2020 he was already hit with a gun case. In November 2021, cops tried to pin another gun charge on K Flock, but it didn't stick. Just a month later, the deadly Waka incident happened. That murder made all the headlines, but the feds had way more in their sights. They claimed Flock was green-lighting hits, sliding on rivals, and running the streets like a war zone. But the real blow to his case, his own people, and even enemies flipping on him. Snitching happens all the time, but what happened to Flock was on another level. Before he got locked up, a dude from his own block, Vance Brockington, got hit by the ops. While Vance was stuck in a hospital bed recovering, Flock went on a mission to get revenge. According to the feds, Flock shot a rival in the face for Vance, but that loyalty didn't mean a thing in the end. After Vance healed up, he was right back on the block, selling crack like nothing happened. The NYPD was watching though, and by July 2022, they had him in a trap, selling 60 grams of crack to an undercover cop. Facing a 20-year sentence, Vance cut a deal and turned on Flock to save himself. In court, he even told a story about Flock calling him after the shooting, saying, "I got you, bro." But the wildest twist, Vance's own sister got on the stand and said he was lying about the whole thing. According to Vance Brockington's sister, Quana, the whole story he told in court didn't even make sense. She said when Vance was in the hospital after getting shot, both his hands were wrapped in thick bandages, tubes were running out of his mouth, and he looked like he was barely hanging on. In her words, there was no way he could have picked up a phone call from K Flock at that time. Vance also claimed that Flock was the one who lit the match on the beef with the OYs. Before all this drama, Sev's side and the OYs actually had decent ties. But then, an OG from the OYs, named Eat Up Baby, ended up partying with some of K Flock's rivals from RPT, and that's when things got ugly.
With the whole building, they couldn't keep him there.
Really?
They couldn't keep him in the building and move him to Jersey. He's fighting everybody.
What the f?
Yes.
From there, Vance said Flock was all in for war. On tracks, he was calling out the OYs and OGs by name, dropping disrespectful bars like, "Twin chops when we spinning through, scream oi oi what, get boomed. EBK DOA, get in tuned, they ducking, they getting it too." Those shots weren't just music, they were open challenges. But Vance wasn't the only one to flip. The next witness shocked everyone even more. Blitz from the YGs took the stand against K Flock. Snitching in a trial is already wild, but what made it insane is that Blitz was the same guy who killed one of Flock's closest friends, Nazi. Nazi was one of DOA's biggest losses. He'd been in the streets heavy since he was just 12, catching gun charges early. By the time he died, he had 18 arrests to his name and a rep for putting pressure on the ops. even slicing someone with a machete at one point. But in September 2021, Blitz and another shooter caught him slipping and left him dead in the street. K-Flock and Nazi were like brothers, so when the ops started mocking Nah right after his death, it hit hard. Rappers like Shaw EK and Eat Up Baby linked up for the track No Discussion, with Shaw EK rapping, "I can't wait to run into K-Flock, Lil Nagat hit in his top, set the trend. How you ever shot like you wouldn't get hit by a bus?" Then Nay GPG jumped in and dissed another one of Flock's fallen friends. On the track, J Rip and Nah were throwing shots that cut deep. Rippy Bop rapped, "Spin through the Sev, put the beam on his neck, can't remember what was in my tech. When I'm smoking on Rippy, I'm high as a jet. See, Jameer might crash that whip, he throw 5, I throw 10. CK Flock, his body drop. How Nazi in the box? We top 5, can't be stopped." Blitz ended up pleading guilty to killing Nazi and got slapped with an 18-year bid. But word is he might shave off some time if the prosecutor files a 5K1 motion. That's basically when someone already serving time helps out on another case, and that's exactly what Blitz was angling for when he flipped on Flock and took the stand. 7 more guys from Sev's side and Third side got scooped up in the same RICO as Flock. The feds claimed they were tied to at least 7 shootings in the Bronx, and that Flock was the one calling plays for the crew. They even alleged that in 2020, Flock and 2 homies slid on an op and let off shots. And then, just 1 month before the Waka murder, he was out on RPT territory again with 2 other DOA affiliates. That time, one of them was hanging out the sunroof letting it rip. BJ Bala was with Flock on that move, and he was facing federal attempted murder charges that could have put him away for life. Instead of rolling the dice in trial, BJ copped out, and in 2025, he got 13 years. When Flock first got booked for the Waka case, he pulled a big move, hiring celebrity lawyer Jeffrey Lichtman, the same guy who defended El Chapo. Fans thought this was a major win, but once the feds hit him with the RICO 2, everything spiraled, and Flock decided to fight it out in trial, and that's when the feds dropped their evidence list. They had wiretap phone records showing him in wire fraud schemes, receipts from Amiri for the same jeans he wore when Waka was killed, and even more. They also had video of Flock, BJ Bala, and another DOA affiliate sliding through RPT on a mission. The feds even tried to weaponize K-Flock's own lyrics against him, claiming he bragged on a track about shooting a YG member in the face to get revenge for Vance Brockington. On the song Who Really Buggin', Flock spits, "Hold on, bunny hop, get to chasing, he tried to run, matter of fact, get to blitzing. Look, I ball like the Pistons, 33 on me when I feel like I'm Pippin. If he G's, he get put in a coffin, hole in his face, that boy look like a dolphin, spin the 8th, know I'm causing extortion." For the feds, one of the biggest goals was proving that Flock was the shot caller for DOA, the one pulling strings and sparking the whole war with the OYs. They claimed his beef with Eat Up Baby was what fueled the chaos and painted Eat Up Baby as the top boss on the OY side. To back their story, prosecutors even pulled up the music video for Eat Up's track Ready for War. In it, he shouts out his set and raps, 14 when it went up in that trap, 9 claps and that dude off the map. He got hit and his body fell flat. Paramedics, they come in red flag. I'm on some shite. Lil Thought in the cut and she sucking the whole. Lil dude, you know this. I keep me a chop cause no, I can't go. But here's the thing, there's zero proof Eat Up Baby was really running the OYs. He was making noise in the drill scene, sure, but being the loudest in the room doesn't mean you're the one giving orders. In fact, there's a strong chance Eat Up would have still been cool with Flock if he was alive, because back when Ready for War dropped, the two were on good terms and no blood had been spilled yet. Sadly, Eat Up Baby took his own life in 2022, and prosecutors trying to use his track as proof just showed they didn't really know the street politics at the time. By the time Flock stepped into trial, the stakes couldn't have been higher. If convicted for Waka's murder, he was looking at mandatory life behind bars. And the feds even brought in a witness claiming they saw Flock sliding through op territory, hunting for OYs on the very day Waka was killed. Waka's brother Jarrell also hit the stand, and his story painted a different picture. He told the court he was in the barbershop with Waka when K Flock walked by. According to him, Waka stepped outside and simply asked Flock who he was, never threatening him at all. At the time, rumors were flying that Flock had been walking down the street with his sister and was just protecting her. But the truth? Way messier. Turns out he was actually with female drill rapper Shawnee Bonnie. That threw people off because many thought she repped the YGs. But in 2022, she cleared that up in a freestyle, spitting, "First off, I do not chill in the T's. Who the fuck me said I'm YG? Like, show me a picture, be throwing up G's, speak correct when you speaking on me. I ain't ducking no action, you bleed how I bleed."
On my dads, nigga. Niggas is light-skinned, bitch-made ass niggas, nigga. Fuck is you talking about, nigga?
Shawnee later testified for Flock, telling the court that Waka said he was gonna shoot them when he walked out of the barbershop. She claimed that after Flock fired, a gun fell out of Waka's coat. But prosecutors accused her of lying on the stand, and now she's facing her own charges for making false statements. She could be looking at years in prison just for trying to back K Flock up. Once Shawnee got caught in that lie, Flock's defense team asked the judge for an extra 90 days before sentencing, arguing that his murder trial had wrapped before her credibility fell apart. In the end, Flock was staring down a mandatory life sentence if he was found guilty of Waka's murder. But in a huge twist, the jury said he wasn't guilty. That took life off the table, but it wasn't a full win. He was still convicted of racketeering, gun charges, and violent crimes. The only thing he beat was the federal murder charge. When the news broke, Flock's people flooded social media, celebrating him dodging the murder rap. But then Flock made things even wilder, jumping on IG right after the verdict to claim he made the judge cry. He was talking like he walked away from everything, even though the heavy charges still stuck. At the end of his IG post, Flock dropped the line, "Kill all rats," a wild thing to say before even getting sentenced. Even some of his loyal fans called it dumb. Remember, this is a guy who got ratted on by both his own homie and an op, so prosecutors could easily twist that post into threatening witnesses and stack even more time on him. And the jail rumors, they're just as messy. Word is, Flock's been wilding inside, possibly racking up new charges. Some whispers even claim he stabbed a dude while still fighting the RICO, though nothing's been confirmed yet. Still, if that's true, his whole case could spiral into something even worse. Once the next hearings start, things could get crazy, and there's a real chance Flock could be gone for good. Flock might have been the face of DOA, but he wasn't the only one in the crew to wreck his own career. Dougie B had his own rise and fall. When Flock first started buzzing in the rap game, Dougie was locked up, but the moment he came home, he jumped straight in the booth, dropping track after track and racking up huge numbers. Even after getting shot in the leg, he kept going strong. But when Flock got booked on the murder, Dougie's wave started fading fast. He vanished from the scene for a while, and whispers in the street said it was because he got hooked on drugs. Fans grew worried, especially after he posted an IG story holding a pile of pills with the words, "I love you so much." People started thinking he might harm himself. Dougie had been open about his struggles, telling a fan he'd been popping perks ever since his father passed away. The mix of grief, depression, and addiction had been weighing on him for a long time. Then, out of nowhere, something sparked his comeback. Around 2023, a new crew called the Sweepers hit the scene, and they came out swinging, dissing DOA right from the jump. The song that really put the Sweepers on the radar was Sev Side K, and it was packed with shots at DOA. They called out names, spitting, "Score bad," so they team with each other. Nazy, Rippy, Diddy, Buddha, K Flock dude ran when he up. Free all the guys that was bugging. Matt KT Gutter was trying to put himself under. Dougie B, how you say bro name for G-Pop? I'll let it flame. DOA Key, I'ma spin through the ray like. They made it clear they wanted war. The Sweepers were going at DOA and even dissing their dead homies non-stop. So Dougie B fired back with OO WAP, going straight at a dead Sweeper affiliate named G-Pop. G-Pop had been stabbed to death in front of a pizza shop, and Dougie clowned him in his verse. Where your bros at? Them guys' kids smoke G-Pop. You see, this you got a kick. Oh, they think they lit because they want to diss everything. K, we don't do no clicks. But just as fast as Dougie came back swinging, he fell off again. This time for all the wrong reasons. A fan took a pic with Dougie while flashing a stack of cash, and right after the shot, Dougie allegedly snatched the money and dipped. Social media roasted him hard for robbing his own fan. Then came the move that really put him in deep trouble. In 2024, cops said Dougie and his crew broke into a man's apartment, held him at gunpoint, and forced him to transfer $2,500 from his accounts, all while the victim's kid was right there watching. Cops didn't grab him right away though. About a week later, Dougie allegedly robbed another man in the same building, this time at knife point. Now he's staring down a possible 25-year bid. He might not do the full stretch, but if he doesn't beat the case, it's a career killer. And he's not the only one with his freedom on the line. Nazy BK could end up with a life sentence too. When he first jumped off the porch, Nazy wasn't even banging, just selling weed. But he had ties with a lot of dudes repping the OGs, and it didn't take long before things got deeper. Some of Nazy BK's own homies from the OG set ended up lining him up and robbing him. After that, Nazy switched sides, linking with DOA and repping them heavy on tracks like Big DOA, where he spits, "I'm rah-rah bopping, these hoes pin dropping, got lined and they popped him, DOA promoting violence, Font 12 and they sirens, I'm toting that iron, pull up on me and I'm firing." At first, a lot of people thought Nazy was just a hoop player who sold some weed and talked tough in the booth, but he stunned everyone when he allegedly caught a body in the middle of Times Square.
Look, my room is still basically empty. I don't really have that many things up. I gotta get a dresser and shit for there.
That's about the worst spot possible to crash out, but that didn't stop Nazy from allegedly pulling the trigger in broad daylight, with cameras rolling, and getting slapped with a murder charge. Nazy had real momentum in the drill scene, dropping big records like OIK and running up his social media presence with YouTube pranks and viral clips. But just like that, he threw it all away. And now, he might never touch the streets again. Meanwhile, C Blue was another one carrying the DOA name in the drill wave, and for a while, it looked like he was on track to be the crew's second biggest star after K-Flock. Back in 2021, C Blue teamed up with DOA affiliate set Da Trend for No Ozone, racking up millions of views. Blue also made headlines after allegedly shooting a cop and somehow beating the case. Walking away from something like that should have been his big break, but instead, he fumbled the bag and his buzz started fading fast. While DOA was busy battling ops and dodging the feds, they were also fighting their own in-house problems. One of the first sparks came when B Lovey and Set Da Trend started clashing. B Lovey wasn't actually DOA, he's from OG territory, but he grew up around their block as a kid and had long-standing ties with K-Flock and several DOA members. Nobody really knows what started the tension between B Lovey and Set Da Trend, but things turned official when B Lovey dissed him on Hazard Lights, rapping, "Steady about, dude, I know. I won't diss on the dead. I got love for the wreck, dudes know it, and I know if it's just me and him, that boy won't see tomorrow. I'm talking fist or the hollow." That shot set things off. C Blue got dragged into the beef just for still rocking with B Lovey after the diss. From there, Blue and Set Da Trend started going at each other on social media. The type of petty back and forth that had fans picking sides, and then it got personal. Word is Set Da Trend allegedly smashed C Blue's girl, adding gasoline to the fire. And while B Lovey, K-Flock, and Dougie B had dropped their collab Brotherly Love, Set Da Trend clapped back with Brotherly Hate, where he dissed both B Lovey and C Blue. He rapped, "Don't ever try to disrespect me on the media, look like we besties. Got some bread on No Ozone, he was flexing. Never gave me $1, but I never hated. I was outside robbing, and I know you really a lame, and he told me you don't even know the dude you jacking, that's sus a shame. Hold up, Lovey, all that saw was food. You never picked up a deuce when cool." Nobody could figure out why Set Da Trend was that mad at C Blue just for siding with B Lovey. But then the streets started connecting dots. In 2022, DOA affiliate Chi W Vets was shot and killed not long after making a buzz in the drill scene. Rumors flew about who was behind it, but years later, cops booked OG affiliate PJ Glizzy for the murder. While nothing was ever proven, some in the streets whispered that B Lovey might have known Chi was about to get hit, and that's why Set Da Trend was so pressed. Bodies were dropping on both sides, and instead of getting caught in the middle, C Blue made a smart play, dipping out to Texas to get away from all the chaos. Fans were glad to see C Blue make it out of the city drama for a while, but the peace didn't last. By 2025, he was allegedly booked for crack possession, and soon after, he became the target of online jokes when he got exposed for being broke and not paying for features he'd promised. His legal situation is still murky, but the music isn't hitting like before. Most of his drops can't even break 100K views on YouTube anymore. Set Da Trend's situation didn't get any better either. After paperwork surfaced accusing him of snitching, he swore it was fake. But in the streets, perception is everything. Even if it wasn't real, plenty of people stopped rocking with him. Meanwhile, DOA's roster keeps shrinking as more members fight cases. One OG from Sev's side, Sticky B, just caught another 8 years while already locked up. He was supposed to come home in 2026 after doing time on fraud charges, but instead of keeping his head down, he allegedly stabbed another inmate, adding nearly a decade to his stretch. Sticky B's been clowned for years. Folks say he's been stuck in the trenches since the 2000s without ever leveling up, even though he's in his 30s. He's been around Sev's side since before DOA even existed. Back in those days, the YBs were the dominant crew on the south side. But by the 2010s, most of them were locked up and the movement fell apart, with members repping other sets. Some DOA affiliates still claim YB, and Set Da Trend even shouted them out on Flame 'em Rapping, Slide to the 8, we don't show no remorse. EJ got hit, you know we gonna talk behind YB, know I'm kicking in indoors. Most drill fans don't even know about the original YB movement, but the way things are going, DOA could be headed for the same fate if they don't change their path fast. If you made it this far into the story, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment about what you think is gonna happen next. And as always, see you on the next one.